with new drinks and new ideas, so it's fun.
And how do you get, because sometimes you get a cocktail and it's got the layers of different colours in there, hasn't it?
Yeah, so it's literally different liqueurs, different lights of juices, and for example, so the heavy ones you put at the bottom, and then the light ones you stir up, so it's quite but that's kind of old school sort of drink. Nowadays you don't find a lot of these. Nowadays it's more molecular science, with playing with foams, people playing with herbs and things like that.
I'm very uneducated on this sort of thing. I'm very much ignorant over it, really, because the sort of closest I get to is when you go on holiday and you go into the bars, and but as I said, I mentioned earlier on, they got this sort of sex on the beach, and
you must have got one, don't you?
Well, yeah, but there seems, and that to me it cringes a little bit, because I think these people are buying it because it's got a sexy sort of name, or a ridiculous name, like riding on an elephant, or I don't know, these sort of the weirdo type thing. It does annoy me a little bit, because there's obviously the craft goes into it, and you wouldn't go into a restaurant and ask for a sirloin steak and say throw it on the floor and stick it around and do this and the next thing they would ask the chef or waiter that will ask you how you want your steak done.
Exactly,
and that, so can you do that with ProCocktails as well? Can you
with drinks, it's like this. There's a classic one. So if you think of a rum-based one, it's a mojito. If you think of a tequila-based one, it's a margarita. If you think of a martini one, it's the classic martini. So throughout the years, all we changed was flavors. So if you add strawberry to a daiquiri, you get a strawberry daiquiri. If you add mango to mojito, you get mango mojito. So there's always those classic drinks that always going to be there, and then people change flavors and twist a little bit here and there and develop a new name, basically. So pretty much they all streamlined into few drinks, if you think about it. But
so it's not a great big vast wide world. There's not. I know there's hundreds of different cocktails, but it's a small sort of group,
pretty much. If you think like this, if you get, for example, if you're looking for the food side, if you get salmon, for example, salmon will always be salmon, but there's different ways to cook it. Different herbs, different spices, so you're gonna get different flavors. Same with cocktails. So a little bit of here and there of Angostura Bitters or a different syrup. You already change the flavor, change the color. You can already put a new name on it. So
if I came into your bar and I said, look, I actually I like rum, I like a white rum, and I like orange flavour, or that sort of thing, and a banana flavour. Could you advise me then on sort of how you would mix it up?
For example, a Junebug, which is banana flavour, coconut rum, and Midori, pineapple juice. It's a nice long drink, very tropical, very Caribbean actually.
What's Midori? Is that melon?
Midori is melon liqueur, yes. Or you can just have a simply orange daiquiri. Honey daiquiri as well has orange.
Now, a lot of these drinks, again, they're not what one would call, a beer drinker will go in and he'll drink 5 or 6 cans of beer, but obviously cocktails, because they're quite strong, aren't they? They must be.
They're quite strong. A standard cocktail has about 50 ml of spirit in it. But when you in a party, you can always ask for half measure, or some people ask for a little bit stronger, but ideally you want the cocktail as it is, because that's how they are developing to get its flavor. So if you change that, you might not get the full experience, basically.
So again, what's the idea of putting ice into the container first and then shaking it out? Is that just to cool it, or
just to cool it down? Dilution. So a cocktail needs dilution. So if you think of mixing all the ingredients, and if you try it, it'll be quite rich and strong. And all you do is add ice, shake for about 8 to 10 seconds. You dilute enough to get the right.
That's the thing. It's not you're not shaking this for 15 minutes or anything.
No. Just about 10 seconds or less. That's the whole idea of the new concept we're developing now, which is the bottled cocktails. So we pre-mix everything in a bottle. just like we premix for a cocktail shaker, and you get a rich content, rich liquid, and all you does, you need to add to the shaker, add ice, shake it and pour, simple as that, and then you garnish it. There's bottled cocktails out there from Bacardi, for example, but there's full of preservatives and artificial stuff. So
yours are all fresh, aren't
they? All fresh, yeah. All develop in a day, they live in a day, less up to 2 weeks or more. But it's all fresh. So,
but it won't last that long, because as soon as you've got them, you want to drink them, don't you?
Yeah, I mean, people just tend to drink, in a day or two, and then especially, if it tastes good and fresh. So.
Now, you also teach cocktail mixing, don't you?
Yeah, so we run master classes, especially at hen parties, sometimes at offices, and everywhere, really. We've done the Women's Institute.
Really?
Yeah, in Luton. And so it's been great. Yeah, it gets a chance for people to shake their own cocktail and have a bit of fun.
Because when I shake it tends to leak out everywhere. But it's probably
well, you're supposed to put a top on it.
Yeah, but it's probably the quality of the shaker, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, there's two types of shaker. There's the Boston shaker, which is the glass, and then the tin that you are cupped together, or the European shaker, which is the head that holds on top with a little cap. So we tend to stick with the Boston shaker, which is 2-part shaker, and you put it together and shake it. But yeah,
I find this all really fascinating, because it's one thing. I've obviously watched the mixologists. I'm not going to call them waiters anymore. I'm going to mixologists doing it.
Not a bartender.
No, that's right. Because they're obviously very skilled in what they're doing, and they're not. Yeah.
So there's different types of bartenders. There's when you into cocktails, they call you mixologist, obviously, but there's never enough knowledge. You can always learn things every day, every time. Always improving, basically. So
how can you tell a bad one, though? I mean, because presumably if you mix,
look at me,
you mix 2 spirits up, and you just sort of mix them the wrong way or whatever, because presumably you've got to put one in first and then the juice or something. But can you muck them up or?
Yeah. So if you think, our palate is quite precise. So if you're tasting something that tastes horrible, you're gonna tell straight away. So you can tell if a bartender knows what he's doing by that. And obviously, if you're a professional bartender, professional mixologist, you can tell how the way he moves around, how he carries out things. But for the public, the only way is by tasting it to find out if it's really worth it.
Now, is it true you have to be a juggler as well, because they throw it up and catch it in the back?
Oh, we're just going to go on to this is flair.
Yeah, flair. It's called flair bartender. It was really popular back in the days when doing the cocktail film. So there's the 2 different types of bartenders. There's a flair bartender and there's a cocktail bartender. Flair bartenders, they tend to know both, but it takes a lot of training and practice, and they do that because they like the competition side of it. But
just because sometimes they work in pairs and that, don't they?
They work in pairs.
They'll flick a bottle out and throw it overnight.
Yeah, that's correct.
It's an entertainment, isn't it?
It's an entertainment for the public. Yeah, people will like that. Yeah.
And do you do that? You provide that service?
We provide that service. Yeah, we have a few flair bartenders available. That's correct. Yeah.
Now, how are we going to get hold of you? Because obviously, I think we've got listeners chomping at the bit at the moment, thinking, I want a nice cocktail. I want this man around my house.
If you Google ProCocktails, we should come up anyways on the first page. But if you type in prococktails.co.uk, that's us. Or you can find us on Facebook, Professional Cocktails, and you'll be there.
And whereabouts are you based?
We're based in Woven Gate.
Yeah.
We have a storage where we keep all of our bars, stock and glassware.
And you come out and do parties.
We come out and do parties, events, weddings.
Yeah. What's the smallest event you do?
We've done a dinner party for 4 people.
Really?
Yeah, 2 couples.
So it's not.
There's no size, and we've done like a music festival for 1,000 people.
Wow!
So there's no number limit or anything like that. So we can.
And how many bartenders would you have on that? 1,000 people.
We try to say hire bartender for up to 40 people,
right? Because
cocktails do take time to make. So you don't want hire bartender for 100 people. and have a long wait on drinks.
Now, you've worked in different countries. You must find in Britain, particularly, the taxes on spirits and drinks is quite high, don't you? Does that affect your business?
It is getting quite high, actually. Everything is going right expensive. Especially we use premium stuff, fresh fruits, premium spirits, top shelf stuff. So for us, it does cost a lot, but the main thing is that we can provide a high quality service, and that's what people want. So
yeah, I mean they're not talking about a bar service, are they? Where somebody comes down and just throws a couple of drinks at people and say, that's £3.50. Obviously it's quality, it's class, isn't it?
Exactly. Yeah, it's a class, it's experience. It's at the end of the day, it's the cocktail experience. We say we call ourselves the complete cocktail experience. So,
I find this fascinating because it's one of those things that people are all right. They're going to pay for, but it's an experience, as you say, that they're going to get because it's not. You're going to take them through the whole concept of making the cocktail, aren't you? And that.
Exactly. It takes away the hassle of you making the drinks for your own guests, basically. Yeah. Just like having a chef and you. Takes away all the pain from you. Back in the days, 3 or 4 years ago, this wasn't popular, so it's getting trendy right now, where people know they can hire a private bartender for their party, for their home, or for their office, or corporate stuff. So,
do you think cocktails are on the up as well? I mean, people.
I think they are actually. Yeah. Especially in this area, London and Milton Keynes, Birmingham, we're very up high in cocktails. People love the bit of cocktail nowadays. Yeah, even the guys are going for it now, actually.
Yeah, because that was one of the things. Everybody associates James Bond with shaken not stirred and stirred not shaken.
Sophistication.
But one has always imagined that normally the cocktails are the girls' side of things. Because a man, give me a pint of beer, a pint of Guinness, or a gin and tonic.
Yeah, that's changing a bit now. So there's just drinks for guys out there now, such as a Moscow Mule or Dark and Stormy, which is a rum and vodka ginger beer based, which is really nice.
Sounds right. Tell me how to make that then.
So a Moscow Mule, it's vodka, fresh lime, ginger beer, and a little bit of Angostura bitters. Or you can do a Dark and Stormy, which you use a dark rum, ginger beer bitters, and fresh lime as well. They're both very refreshing.
Now the Angostura bitters, they're a killer, aren't they? Because
they are.
If you don't get the right amount, when people start into it, and that
you
kills
only need
it,
a few drops
just
of
a
it.
Tiny little
you
bit,
only need a few drops. It's a highly concentrated liquid.
Very potent, isn't it?
There's different types of bitters. There's grapefruit bitters, orange bitters, chocolate bitters. Well,
Angostura bitters.
Angostura is the main one.
Are there wine-based cocktails?
They are the popular sangria, which is a Spanish one, very popular. Lots of fruits, soda water, a bit of orange apple juice, really refreshing for the summer.
That's more like a punch, though, isn't it?
Pretty much, yeah. It's sort of like Pimm's in the UK. It's a sangria, it's a Spanish one. So
the French and the mulled wine, it's just rubbishy old red wine with a few bits of cinnamon stick stuck in it, isn't it?
It's an excuse to drink wine in the winter and in the summer. Basically,
who needs an excuse? You don't need an excuse to drink anything.
Listen, thank you very much for taking time out and coming in this morning talking about it.
I appreciate inviting me.
I think that we'll get this show out onto your Facebook as well, so that other people can listen to it. Yeah. Are you busy over Christmas? You got a lot on?
Yeah, there's a few stuff coming up. We have a New Year's Eve parties next year as well. We're quite fully booked for the summer.
Yes, because I was going to say, because people, if they're listening and they've got the idea that would be nice, that would go well with a wedding or whatever, they've got to get in touch with you fairly quickly, haven't they?
Yeah, so we try to tell people, book within a month, give us a month ahead notice.
No, that's not bad.
We do get, sometimes a week ahead, but we can't promise anything because we have a limit of stuff that we can provide. So a month or two, that's a great time frame.
And what about your sessions that you run, the training sessions and that sort of thing? I mean, how do people come along to talk to you about it and say?
We don't have an actual premise yet to run the classes, but at the moment, so we're coming to you. So we come at your office, at your home, at your hall, or anything like that, and it's been working great. So if you go through on the website and gallery, you'll be able to see many pictures of past events.
Oh, that's good. So. And how much would that cost me? I mean, supposing that I was doing a little party with 10 people coming along to a thing, and I wanted you to come along to me.